I am Felicia Day, and I do a variety of things with acting, writing, and producing, and they are mostly on the internet. In making things for the internet, you're able to not think about this sort of business part of entertainment, and the stakes are a little bit lower, but the successes can be just as big as TV or movies now. When I was only an actor, I struggled for many years because I didn't know what category they wanted me to be in, And the cool thing about what I did inadvertently was just to decide to be myself, and with no expectation, allowed myself the freedom to find who I wanted to be. A lot of the things that I want to do are they're just waiting to be done, in a sense. I'm lucky to have a lot of doors open. I definitely would say that writing a book is definitely on my radar, as is maybe doing something for more mainstream TV or movies as a writer or a creator. I do like to create worlds, and some of them can't be done on a web scale, but eventually I think, it's all gonna turn into one thing. I always just have a little notebook. I put down all the little ideas I wanna do, and one day, hopefully I'll have enough, I won't die before I get a lot more done. I'm a real optimist too. I've always wanted to escape into other worlds, and I think that's why I love video games, and I read very many books. I definitely more fantasy and sci-fi, because they're not what we are living now. To me, I'm not very interested in straight dramas or straight comedies as much. I really like to have a sense of otherworldliness. That's what attracts me in creating things. You really just set the rules for a world, and you have, really it really is your imagination that's the limit. When you're playing a role-playing game, I think the most fun is to make your character a little bit off. Because just like when you're thinking of characters together and making a script, you want to have very distinctive voices, because then you're not trapped. I don't know what this character would do. And that's really the funnest part of writing to me, is when you can mix a bunch of people together and you know exactly how they'll interact, and they'll interact together in a completely different way from two other people. That's, I think, really good character. I never played board games, D&D or anything, until I was like, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. A friend of mine had a D&D group, and they invited me to it. And when I played my first game, I never knew what to do with my character. And I ended up defining this sorcerer character who's just this most high maintenance, obnoxious, dumb character. She had a very high charisma rating, but a very low intelligence. And I just went to town. I would just literally blow things left and right because, well, she was just too good for this situation. And she would just throw a fireball even though there was hay there. And people would yell at me, but I was like, well, Jocelyn is not smart. Look at her IQ. It's not, she's a 9. She's not smart, but she's a very high charisma rating. And she would try to sleep with all the boys, but forget which one she was sleeping. It was super fun. That's so much more interesting than trying to just play it straight and try to win. That's what I think, the having a character to sort of center around makes a game much more fun. So the Jocelyn game went on for like 2 years, and then that dissolved, and then we started a new game, and I decided to do a completely opposite character, and that was Lyra, and she was a very nebbish, bookish. She was very, very intelligent, but had no charisma and was frankly a little bit ugly. But she was very smart as far as skills. So she knew a lot of history. She knew 12 different languages, and but she never ever got any action. And it was equally fun because I was a know-it-all. Everybody didn't like me because I was a know-it-all. So maybe I don't play the most likable characters. Gaming is better than acting in a really bad horror film. Well, unless there's zombies and I can get blood all over my face. That's kind of fun all the time.